And I need to unmute. Oh, so good.
Hi. One attendee. Welcome to the.
Crap, what did I do?
What just happened? No, it's still.
I touched something.
It's still on because I'm in.
I did a different window.
Oh, it's on the
Yeah,
bottom.
you go, yeah, go to zoom on the bottom. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you're right, the blue one,
There you go.
Make it large.
So can they not hear me?
No, they can hear you.
I think we're muted.
Oh, no, we're muted.
So we're not muted.
Are we?
I
I think we're good.
We're good. Can we be heard? Can somebody put in the chat whether you can hear us or not?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, great.
So we're good? Anybody?
Excellent. Hi.
So I have to allow. I
No,
don't
no,
have to
no,
talk.
don't allow anybody to talk, please.
Where
We're
is
not
that
gonna be-
little
no,
button?
no,
No, I'm moving them over as participants. because
No,
they're
no,
board members.
they're fine. They're board members. It's fine.
Oh, because Mark told me if they're attendees, but they're board members to move to upgrade them.
They're not, they're already in, no, leave it. It's fine. There's nobody else here. Is there?
And you're not gonna have any co-hosts, no one else?
All right.
That's it. So then I will leave it.
Just leave it. If people want to raise their hands, we'll elevate them then. Let's get started.
And I don't know how you shut this down, but the one thing Mark didn't tell me.
I think we can hear it.
I shut that down. I mean, that part you could just leave alone because I'm not messing with that because we had so many problems with those hours before.
Thank you so
I'll
much,
still
my
be next door
darling.
for a little bit
All
because
right. Sorry for the hold up. Okay.
I don't get the OT if I don't stay for an hour.
All right. Recording. We are recording now. Okay. Hi.
Fine.
Welcome to the October meeting of Community Board 2 Cannabis Licensing Committee.
I am.
Tonight we will hear 2 applications for dispensaries here in our district. First, I'd like to introduce the committee members present. Patricia Laria. Hello.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Thank you. And I'm Mar Fitzgerald. So let's see. Good evening. First up, Burkay Sabat and Joseph Marlowe. Very good to meet you, gentlemen. They are CAURD licensees, expected to open at 481 Broadway. Do you know when you're gonna open?
They said that if we get all the permits, we'll be open in December, at the end of this week, around Christmas.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little about your vision?
Well, we're an adult retail use cannabis dispensary. We're going to be carrying mainly flower, vapes, edibles, and cartridges. We have some non-cannabis products. We're looking to also sell clothing and maybe some art, actually. Very excited to be in the neighborhood and looking to have a safe and responsible user base and contribute to the community in any way we can.
And what is the vibe? We didn't, I didn't get a chance to get your renderings. What is the concept behind your store?
We kind of just went with like what we thought would be good for Soho, kind of looked at other buildings in the neighborhood, other retail locations, and kind of went with like a bright, colorful interior design. Lots of like, you know, blues and whites and like very clean, kind of like an Apple store type of thing. So that would be our goal. And then we also added some floral stuff to break up like the monotonous white, you know, non-nature part. So, I mean, we're targeting a demographic that's not the usual cannabis customer, because from what we've seen from other dispensaries and we've talked to in the industry, people that already smoke a lot of cannabis themselves have like street dealers and people that they've been working with for a long time. So we're probably not going to be able to get them as a customer. we have to kind of do a more premium experience because of our, we're paying cannabis tax. We have a lot of overhead for having a physical location. So it's definitely people that are candy curious, I guess, like, kind of trying cannabis for the first time or looking to get back into it. Usually people 35 and above. I think that the number one growth rate for the retail dispensaries is single woman above 35 years old. So that'd be a big target for us as well. Yes, we're pretty much like what our vibe and our demographic is.
I know this is a fun location, but what attracts you to the location and the neighborhood, and what connection do you have with neighborhood?
I used to live in Chelsea on 345 West 30th Avenue, but I would like go down to Soho all the time, I just like riding my bike. And my friend actually ended up opening up a nightclub like on Canal Street area, Palace. So he would live in Soho, and I was like, I saw like the vibe, the people, it's very like progressive, a lot of like art and stuff like that. And I'm not like an artist myself, but I like to be around people that are talented, I guess. So I wanted to kind of open up in Soho. I feel like it's like such an amazing retail location, and it's like such an amazing art scene as well.
So let's talk hours. Let's see, I'll review for the committee since we didn't really have time to print out your application, but I do thank you for coming.
No problem. It's my fault. I thought I hit submit and it didn't go through.
I'm actually gonna try to print it right now. But so I see 481 Broadway, your cross streets are Broom and Grand. There it is. And 1 second. Your hours. So one entrance for 81 Broadway, there's no service entrance or access. Oh, what is the building? Is it fully commercial? Is it?
Yeah, it's all retail. 3 floors. Top floor above us is a yoga studio. And then above that is software development.
Okay, have you had a chance to talk to them or reach out to them?
I did. I spoke to the people at the software development company. They seemed like very chill. They just told me to clean up the graffiti in front of the building, so I came back and cleaned it up. And then I talked to the yoga studio people, and they were like, yoga studio people. Very relaxed as well.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you had a chance to talk to your neighbors. Why don't you share a bit of your security plan with us?
So the internal security is gonna be built out with the fund. For outside security, we're looking at JCI. They're a company that work with like 5 other CAURD licensees. We're looking to have a full-time security staff outside the building, not armed, but as a deterrent. He's gonna be there to manage the line and make sure that nobody that's under the age of 21 gets into the building. Inside the building, we have another booth area where we have an ID card scanner, and that'll be the second line of like checking out. And then the third time, when they actually do check out at the counter, they have to show the ID again, so we can match the ID to the transactions, like what they bought, SKUs. And we have 5 cash registers, but one of them's an express one.
3. No, 3 what?
We have 5 cash registers.
Oh, cashiers.
Cash registers and cashiers, right? And one of them's an express one, like for online pickup. So what we want to do is eventually like have everybody order in advance so that there doesn't have to be like a wait or any time spent inside the store. They can just get in and get out. And if the line outside does get too egregious, we can send somebody out there with an iPad to take orders, and then we can just put them into the express lane.
Okay. And how many security? What's the square footage of the space?
It's 3,000 on the first floor and then 1,700 on the.
It's basement, cellar level?
Yeah.
And so how many inside, how many outside?
Security guards, we're looking at 1 outside and 1 inside at the check-in area.
unarmed. All right, told us about your design. ID checks, we covered that. Vapes, all right, and hours. So you won't use any outdoor space?
No.
There's no outdoor space attached to the location anyway. Landmark building,
Yes.
so you're not going to make any changes to the facade at all,
No, we can't.
besides cleaning it up?
Yeah. The only thing we're gonna do is take down that peaches and cream sign and just put the name of it. We can't do anything.
Okay. That's fantastic. Hours are 9 to 9. And 9 to 11,
Yes.
9 to 9, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 11.
Yep.
And when you're in the space, do you hear sound coming from the yoga studio at all?
Not really, no.
But you're gonna install soundproofing just to be safe?
I'll talk to the design team to install soundproofing. I'm not sure what level of the designs are,
Is there any residential in your immediate area?
not that I know of.
Wait, hold on.
It's all from-
Valerie can't see.
We'll just like.
Who can't see? Valerie, can you still not see?
She can't see because the card license,
What can't you see?
why can't she see?
I don't know.
I think we're a little blurry.
Quorum. Who's attending? Oh, because it's a webinar. Where's Valerie? We are gonna have to. No, Susan.
Sorry, I'm a committee member on the panel on Zoom.
Hi, Zachary, welcome. It's Zachary's
Hi.
first day.
Yeah, sorry, I'm traveling and can't meet and see you in person.
Okay, there we go.
And Chris is also a committee member.
Oh, yes, and Chris is here. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. Zachary doesn't count to quorum, and Anthony's on his way, Valerie. Yes, Zachary is. Valerie. Excellent, okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Happens.
So soundproofing due to ongoing, and so you got caught up a little in the injunction.
Everybody else, yeah. And that's pretty much what our main focus has been almost like every day since August.
Well, nothing really to do about it, right? Except wait.
Well, we tried to intervene, then we tried to file a motion to intervene, then we tried to meet with the card licensees, the other card licensees to see if like we could help our friends who are doing temporary delivery only spaces. And we've been going to different strategy sessions and a whole lot of other stuff.
I've seen you in some of them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been busy trying to figure out a path for us to move forward right now. We're still have the card licensees, but we've been talking with the fund on getting paperwork stating that we control the space so that we can apply for a regular license as well. And I've just been waiting on that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do both really at this point.
Yeah.
That everybody's doing, but slowly the judge is releasing people from the injunction one by one. So, you guys have your location, you're set up, you're a fun site. It may look good.
Yeah, we're hoping, fingers crossed.
So are there any residential buildings to the left or right of you?
All the buildings I've seen have been retail. I'm not sure if there is residential units at the very top floor, because sometimes when I go there at night to make sure like nobody sprayed anything else, I do see like some lights on the upper floor, so it's possible there might be other residential.
All right, and if there are, good, have a chat with them.
Our plan is to, yeah.
All right, good. Okay, I mean, that is a really busy commercial thoroughfare, lots of NYU business too. So you plan to hire from the surrounding community?
Yeah, once we get closer to opening and we have an HR person, we're looking at making the job postings and then trying to hire locally. That'd be the best bet. We do have a labor peace agreement, so if there is like a, most likely going to be a union shop because we're allowing the union to come in and talk to all the employees instead of compensation and get benefits and everything else like that.
Well, that all sounds great. I'm gonna open it up to the committee, see if they have any questions.
Which union?
It's on my phone.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Juan, Patricia, Zachary?
I have a question. You said you didn't have an opportunity to do community outreach, but do you have your contacts who you're gonna be reaching out to in the community? To like local neighborhood associations and so forth?
We're using a company called Cannabis, and they were supposed to help us with this. We never reached that phase of the discussion with them. But I do believe that they're supposed to have all of the contact info for us to get started.
Yeah. Kaylin and Kate.
I have another.
No, go for it.
What about like education, like for your customers? Are you planning to do any kind of in-house education about marijuana to people who are interested in that?
Yeah, well, that's very important. So I'm in contact with like the growers of state that sell us the marijuana. They're supposed to have training for our employees. And then also, we're hiring a traveling general manager for the first month, and they're also supposed to train the employees. And I'm also taking a training course right now on being a certified dispensary employee, I guess, but on the medical side, they don't have the retail side of it yet. But educating the customers is like extremely important for us because we expect a lot of our customers to not be very knowledgeable, and we want them to have a good experience the first time they use cannabis. So if we don't really get on top of that and we give somebody something like extremely strong, it's their first time and they get knocked out for like a day, that's like going to be a huge loss for us. So it's definitely like very high up on our priorities.
Fantastic.
Do you expect any, you're probably gonna get a lot of tourists in the area. Any like language accessibility, issues or anything like that?
We're definitely gonna hire like people that speak more than one language. We gotta have that type of support in New York City for any business, really. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I guess we can, as the need arises, like have more translated materials and templates. We are looking at getting a smart ordering system that's like supposed to support multiple languages. So hopefully that could kind of like help with any translation.
Okay. Zachary.
Yeah, hey, and sorry I was a few minutes late joining. A couple quick questions. Maybe you covered this one, but I see the owner's name is Vanessa. What's the relation?
That's our next applicant.
Oh, okay, that was the only one in the attachment.
You guys actually didn't get this one because it came in very late today, and I'm
Got it.
gonna actually send it to you right now. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We've been trying to see Briquet for a long time, but we were supposed to see him back in August, but the injunction held things up, and it's just been a really, really, really rough time for all of the CAURD licensees. So, there was so much uncertainty, and I think he didn't want to come. I don't want to speak for you without, well, that's what you said to me, without being able to present a plan and being able to even know if he was going to be able to open his business at all. Hey, Anthony.
Okay, separate question then. Would just love to hear about how you plan to differentiate your dispensary from the other ones that are cropping up nearby.
So two things. Three things. One is we're partnering with the Justice Foundation, and hopefully, working with them on helping with their cause, which is people that have been previously incarcerated for cannabis offenses, like rehabilitating them back into society. The second thing is we are trying to, we have rack space for non-cannabis items. What we wanted to do, or what we're trying to do is put local like designers, like their clothing and their art onto that rack space and kind of do like a shared space with them. I contacted FIT with this, although they're in Chelsea, they're not in Soho. But I was like, you know, looking if anybody wanted to intern with us or anything else like that. I have like a whole chain of emails with them. I'm trying to set that up as well. So kind of like showcasing local talent and design would be like one of our main factors, and hiring local, paying like the cannabis tax that helps your communities. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds a very good Soho combo.
Thank you.
I mean, are you allowed to do that actually?
For non-cannabis items, yeah, it's just like clothing and
Like partner with people on site with, if there's like money exchanging? I'm wondering. I'm sorry, I know. Words of habit.
I was told there wasn't an issue. I know there's another dispensary opening up that's doing the same thing with just art. Like they're putting art on the wall. People can buy it. And I know there's like Gotham, the other Gotham that's around here. They have a whole bunch of non-cannabis stuff on the wall, and some of it's made by like that actor that was in.
Yeah, they do. So Gotham on Third Street, they do, it's like a lifestyle shop, really.
Yeah.
So like blankets and plates and books and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can sell what you want.
I saw them doing it, and I'm like, why can't I?
Zachary, I just emailed you got it, and Juan and Chris, I also just emailed it, so you have it. All right, good. I will open it up to other CB2 members if they have any questions for these applicants. Pete Davies has a question.
Hi. Thank you. Pete Davies here, Broadway Residents Coalition. I just want to make sure that the applicants do understand that there's a lot of residents on Broadway. On your block alone, there is 469 Broadway, 471, 473, 475. Very large residentially occupied building on the corner of, on your block on the southwest corner of Grand and Broadway. Across the street, you have 4 buildings with residents above. So that's just, when you do the outreach, it's good for you to know. Broadway Residents Coalition and contact info is available on the CB2 website. Wondering if you've had any interaction with the BID, the Business Improvement District Soho Broadway Initiative.
I have not, no. Straight.
And because perhaps you're aware that most of the retail in the district pretty much closes by 9 o'clock. So there is concern about the later hours on the weekend. And just hoping you'll address that. I have a couple of other questions. Should I just do the questions or one by one? How would you prefer, Mark?
Just ask your questions one by one.
Okay. Even in regard to the landmarks, even changing the sign will require interaction with the Landmarks Preservation Commission. And I notice on looking at their website, it doesn't appear that anything's been submitted yet. So if you want to have a sign up by the time you open in December, things move really slow there. So just letting you know that. Do you have, or do you plan to have, any affiliation or partnership with any other cannabis related businesses? I ask this because last week a press release went out from the Union Square travel agency dispensary that they have partnered with the House of Cannabis and are now offering from that non-dispensary location the ability to get deliveries directly to that location at 427 Broadway, which is curious. But are you planning to partner with any other cannabis related businesses?
No, not at this moment.
Okay, that's because we haven't had a chance to talk to you, that's why we're asking so many questions. This is new, and so hope you're hearing them in the spirit of a neighborhood trying to work together. And let me see if I would love to hear your story about how you guys became a CAURD applicant.
It's up to you to share.
No, we'll share it.
It's a personal question and it comes up sometimes, so I want to respect your privacy.
So it's just basically an application for someone who's been arrested. And I was arrested when I was 16, 34. I own 3 businesses. So it's just something that I had from when I was younger. So when I applied, it just was part of the protocol to have to be, own a business and have been arrested. It was was that 17 years ago? So I was 16, I'm 34, haven't been arrested since. And been in business ever since.
Thanks for sharing that. I grew up in California where we were fortunate enough, if you were under 18, they cleared that stuff. So
Yeah,
it doesn't stick with you once you're over 18 in from California. Unfortunately, maybe they don't do that in New York. So that pretty much covers me at this point. And I know one more question. So you guys are still applicants or are you licensees at this point?
that's
It's hard to explain right now, right?
Yeah.
So Pete, there's an injunction.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. So currently there's an injunction against the CAURD program. People are getting released one by one from the injunction, one by one by the judge. And we don't know the pace at which that's happening. We don't know who's going to get that. What most people are doing now is applying as both CAURD, right? Because even though the state is prevented from further processing CAURD licensees, except for the ones that are allowed by Judge Bryant, we are not. And there are other involved agencies that are not prevented from further processing CAURD. So we're still seeing CAURD. We are seeing these applicants as CAURD applicants. And they are in a DASNY site, a fund site, which means this was a site that was chosen and certified by the state. It's opening regardless with these guys. So we welcome the opportunity to talk to them and hear their story.
That fits in pretty much with what I had understood. So thank you for verifying that. And I know there's another neighbor who's on, Laura Tenenbaum, who
has her hand raised.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Bye. Laura, give me 1 second. Let me see her.
I just saw her.
Hi. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, hi.
Great. Welcome to the community. And again, I just want to have a bit of a chat about the community. I have real questions about pretty much your outside presence. There was a little discrepancy because you said you're not doing business outside, but you are. But then there was discussion both on your form and also in the discussion here about not only a security guard, but a line, stanchions, rope outside. And that's a bit problematic in our community. We have incredibly busy sidewalks. We have a problem already with way too many lines outside. And as Pete pointed out, people are living above all these living upstairs. And the buildings that are in Soho, these cast iron buildings, noise goes right through them. You cannot keep noise out. It's not only the windows, it's a cast iron. So when there's a crowd downstairs, people trying to do their art, trying to sleep, to live their lives, to work at home, hear it. And there's some concern, is there any way that you can give us an idea of how many people you expect to have outside? Is your line going to go past your building line? How much you have close to 5,000 square feet inside. How much is of that it could possibly be available for lines inside rather than out? It's compounded a little bit by the fact that Shumu, or whatever the name of that thing is 2 doors down, 2-3 doors down, which is a magnet for families and young children. And they often pile up outside too. So if there's anything you can do to have most of your business going on inside, for the lines to be inside, that would really, really, really be helpful. Let's see if I had any other question. Yeah, again, as Pete pointed out, the late hours. Just to let you know that when people come from liquor license applications, they, in most of community board too, they never want to have late hours on Sunday. Sundays are dead. But the other part of it is this Broadway is pretty much closed by 9.
Yeah.
There's no business there. And it would, again, because of noise and everything else, it would be very helpful for the residents if you could consider closing by 9 straight through 7 days. That's all. Again, welcome to the neighborhood. And I hope everything goes swimmingly for you.
Thank you, Laura. We're gonna make a list of community partners to reach out to. All right, and if you'd like to be added to that list, I'll reach out to you and ask.
Well, I'm also with Broadway residents. I live a block away out of it, but I am also with that organization.
Okay.
Thank
Can
you.
I answer that?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I want to thank you for your concern. Yeah, as you previously stated, we have a lot of square footage on the inside. We're going to have lines inside as well. The outside line would be if somehow we're so crazy busy that some of the line spillage goes on the outside. It's not our primary plan to have people waiting outside. We want them inside the store.
You have 5 registers,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of, movements fast, there's 5 registers, no other dispensaries even have lines outside. It's more so that we're trying to basically, track business as a new business with the ropes and the security guard. But as far as lines, it's not like a nightclub. They're coming in and coming out,
Yeah.
like a minute each.
Yeah, we want to keep the
Average customer time,
3 minutes.
it's 7 minutes.
Is it?
It's 7 minutes in and out. But what we've seen with all of the other dispensaries in legal dispensaries in the district, Laura, is that like maybe the first few days they need those stanchions and ropes, and afterwards they don't need them because
I haven't seen any other.
we haven't seen them since housing.
Okay. I just don't want them to be put out there as a marketing point, because you're not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, well, we asked actually, as do other boards, just in case, so that we know if a crowd were to congregate, that it will be against the building. So we want them to have those stanchions and ropes ready with the security to keep the pedestrian traffic flowing in the case there is a crowd. I forgot to ask you, events. Are we done, Laura?
Yeah, we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Discussed events, but we try to keep them inside, right? Nothing outside.
All right.
We don't have any like scheduled or even like an event coordinator really.
I mean, have you thought about, besides grand opening, what are you thinking about, like we talked about programming a bit.
We don't have anything that comes to the top of my head. I think we
Initiative?
need to talk to a
We've been
marketing
battling
person.
this, John.
Yeah.
I know, you, I know.
Just trying to get the store open.
Nothing else. where we've been
Nothing
battling.
else is like,
All right, well, I did hear from the fund. And you're fine.
but what did they give you a reason for that?
What we.
We heard we were fine.
No, you're fine. What we suspect, what I suspect anyway, is that it is the same address in a different borough and they submitted to the wrong board.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that.
I'll call.
Which can happen.
There was another 481 Broadway, I think, in Brooklyn.
There you go.
They were asking us if,
This is our,
No,
this is our
like-
policy agreement.
okay, great.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's great. They must have other business that wants blue and black. We don't have familiar.
All right, so we covered sidewalk stewardship. Are there any other questions from the public? Or board members?
I have one. You said that you were gonna, reach out to JCI Security.
We reached out to them, yeah, but we're waiting on them to get back.
Okay, and then they will reach out to the precinct, the local precinct to, like, have you done outreach to them? Because you just heard from 2 people within the community. Will you also reach out to the precinct?
Of course,
Okay.
yeah, 100%. And we have a seed to sale tracking system as well, since we're a legal dispensary. So one part of our outreach is if we go to like a park or like a playground or a school and you find something that's from a legal dispensary like us, if you give us the packaging, the SKU, we could just scan that and then find out who bought it and then, take appropriate action, whether that's banning them from the store or doing something else. So, we really don't want anybody that's shopping with us to be like against the community best wishes, I guess, hazardous to the community.
Thank you. Valerie, to answer your question, yes, it is on the website. Let's see, share not on the CB2 website. Yes, it is on the website. Questionnaire for this application.
Do you want me to drop it
Yes,
in?
it is. Oh, I'm going backwards. It's in there.
Yeah, she dropped it in. Valerie dropped it, I thought.
It's in there. And Pete, I am so sorry. You are absolutely right. I did not look at it. I was very frantic today. We have now over 50 cannabis applications received in a number of days. And I'm trying to manage those. So thank you for coming and asking those questions live. And we will definitely send them to the operators so that they can take those things into consideration for their method of operation. All right, and anything else? There are 2 precincts, yes, the 1st and the 5th. We will send them information. And of course, all the bids and community groups. And yeah, we knew it was gonna happen. I've been telling everybody for 2 years, Laura, this day is gonna come when we have too many applications, and it's come and it's a lot, but we're gonna get it done. All right, if there are no more questions, I would like to thank you for coming.
Okay, can we ask a question?
Of course.
All right, so just, I'm sure you guys are aware, but down the street from us, there's Empire Cannabis Club.
We're aware.
And I've been to their store and so they don't work with the MRTA. Like for us.
They're illegal.
Yeah, they're illegal. And
They're an illicit shop. They are one of the worst, most egregious shirkers of the law
yeah,
in the state.
yeah, it's with our rent is like, as you know, extremely high. We're with the fund, it's a loan we have to pay back every month as well. And, we're just like 2 regular people. So our capital to continue the business if we're at a loss is not as high as it is for a lot of other places. And they have very, very cheap cannabis and it's indoor grown and a lot of people go there, think it's legal, and we're trying to make heads or tails of if we're gonna be able to continue to be in business for a long time if they continue to be down the street from us. I just wanted to know what the community board was thinking.
I have a nickel for every enforcement report I've sent and videos and to the DA, to Sheriff Miranda, to OCM enforcement, to anyone who would listen about Empire, to our electeds. This work is being done.
Okay,
As part of your outreach to your
No,
local
no.
precincts, you can continue that conversation.
yeah, I'd love to talk to them. It's just, it's tough. They,
I know.
we have to pay a lot of tax and they have a lot of advantages over us since they're legal.
Yeah, we hear you.
Illegal.
Continue to submit enforcement reports, have your friends and your neighbors do it, and just keep the pressure up. For whatever reason, the state has not been successful in shutting any of their multiple locations down. You know, we definitely take you over them any day,
Thank you.
all right? But also have no power over enforcement. Valerie?
Thank you. Thank you so much. This applicant brings up a really great point and it makes me wonder, will CB2 be taking a position on illegal, on these illegal illicit shops?
I mean, perhaps we should. As a regular everyday citizen, I take a position, I send enforcement reports daily. So, because I see that as my civic duty. What can we do as a board? Let's discuss. Maybe we'll work together. Maybe we'll do a joint reso. All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming by.
Thank you for hosting us, everybody.
So at this point, everything that we discussed regarding like sidewalk stewardship and sound attenuation and your hours and your overall method of operation and your agreement to talk to your neighbors, we're gonna put that into a stipulation sheet. Would you be willing to sign and notarize that for us, just as a promise
Sure.
that you're gonna be good neighbors?
Yeah, no problem.
We love that. All right, great. Keep in touch. So at this point, up,
Thank
you
you for
can
coming.
stay or you can leave,
Thank you.
Thank you all.
and we'll leave. We'll let you know what the outcome is. And if you stay, you'll hear it, but you can't participate.
I'm probably gonna go get food for the.
All right, go ahead. Thanks again.
Local address and see if that's safe.
Check the what?
They said it might be an address issue.
You know the address already.
Yeah,
In your system, does it say?
Oh, there's no way for us to check that. That's
They
OCM.
confirm it was a mistake.
Nobody confirmed that it was a mistake. I'm guessing that's what it is. They're just telling me that that's your space.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Have a good night. You too. Thank
Good
you.
night, bye. I can't see anything now. Oh, Mark, why aren't you here?
You can't see,
I can't pull it
you want to
down.
make me a co-host and I'll
I
try to.
can't even see the people anymore. This won't come down. Oh, there it is. There it is. I am gonna make you a co-host. So you can do that. There you go. Yeah. You can unmute. Where'd he go?
Where did he
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
You advanced me, so I threw out and now I'm back. In regard to your comment about the 50 applications in CB2, those would all be non-CAURD applications, or for the most part?
This was the only card we had. The rest of them are not card.
Okay,
They haven't declared card anyway, but from I know that none of them are card. The great majority of them are not even state compliant. They're within, proximity of in licensed premises. They're within proximity of a school or a church.
okay,
They're never going to be licensed anyway.
okay.
So, yeah. You
Yeah,
should,
so my question was about the 1,000 foot separation.
yeah.
I guess that's kind of like with the SLA, it's somewhat a rule, but it's also kind of loose.
It is not loose.
It's not loose. Great,
It's not even loose by like half a foot.
good.
Right now, they may loosen it, but right now, they are making no exceptions. They are working on some mechanism to create a waiver system. There's 7 points that would allow that, but that mechanism doesn't even exist yet for the OCM. They haven't even done that.
Good. Thank you for the clarification.
All right, thanks for coming, Pete. So. Wait, what am I doing?
Doesn't go back to being a 10.
Yeah, can you take care of that? So our next application is for Bloomlee at 52 Kenmare. Hello, welcome. Thank you for your patience and waiting. And also Anthony is here, everybody.
We have quorum.
So we have quorum. Valerie, would you like to report that back? So we are joined by
Vanessa
Chan and her attorney Christina Bucola.
Hi.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself
Myself, okay.
first?
All right,
Yes.
so I am, own a building, 52 Kenmare Street. It was, bought by my grandparents. They were refugees from Mozambique. And they came over with whatever they had and left in the middle of the night. It's a very classic immigrant story. They came here in 74, 76, when they bought the building with whatever they had accumulated. And I currently still manage it. I own it. My grandmother passed away. She lived there for many years. The building is it's the one thing that, my family is like, never sell, never think of away, because we have a lot of history there. My parents met there. My mom lived in apartment 7. They used to run a small business hardware store out of the corner of Mott and Kenmare for many years, and they met there. So there's a lot of history. My dad worked on it. I've been the boiler, checking on the heat, checking on these things since I was little. So recent years, been very, very difficult. The COVID, and I gave a lot of my tenants, allowances. I rose their, rent without the government, involvement or anything. I was like, it's fine. We'll deal with it. We'll make it work. And I kind of gave them a lot of leniencies because I do still have a lot of controlled and stabilized tenants in the building. But recent years just been really difficult. So I really wanted to put something that would be profitable, that could, really sustain the legacy of my grandparents and my family. So really the number one is the building, and number 2 is the cannabis dispensary. Even though I do have a passion for it, I use it. I only discovered it kind of in my late 30s because I have a lot of anxiety and insomnia. So I use that for those purposes. And I really wanted to blend those two passions together to put a business that could maintain the legacy and also something that I am passionate about. So I, came up with cannabis. That was back in 2020 when COVID was happening. And I was like, I really need to, because I had tenants in and out. And, it's still like graffiti. We tried to clean it up, but it's never, saying we need to put something that could really sustain. And it's not easy in New York for retail space to survive because you need to be functional. Right on my corner, one of my tenants is a Thai diner, and they've been very successful. But it's because they have an exceptional product. So I wanted to put something that's really unique and different to bring to the neighborhood to kind of liven up that area, and also just to make it so that it's not empty stores, which it has been for years. Just trying to get new tenants in, it's just, nobody can survive. It's very difficult. So came up with cannabis, and what my focus on is really going to be more women's focused. I wanted to make it like a glossier, kind of upscale kind of feeling, but very welcoming, light and bright, pink, whites, gold, kind of very, boutique and elevated, but also something that is inviting for people to come in. So first point of contact, they're going to be coming in. It's about education, have like a learning tree or kind of like a center where people will be educated on the types of ways to consume the product. And then from there, you know, I have a sales staff to take them through the several products that we have. My store will be based on moods. So each display will have, for example, like, let's say vapes and pre-rolls. And then in those shelving systems, I'll have subcategories of like for pain relief. So this shelf has all the edibles for pain relief. This shelf will have it on anxiety, on, you know, even menstrual health, sexual wellness. I really wanted to focus on that because they do tampons. But endometriosis, perimenopause is really kind of my focus. You know, I'm in my 40s. I really, you know, that is the stage that I'm at, and I think it's just something that I wanted to, you know, I know a lot of women who can benefit and also who use it for those purposes, just like, you know, like taking a pill to kind of go through period pain and things like that. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think that it is something that is different and is, you know, more of a niche thing. But, you know, like, I guess the previous applicant had said, it was like, women are the over 35 out of that market, and I'm trying to hit that up. And my focus, I'm not gonna have bongs or things like that. My focus really wanted to be like no concentrate, no like harder stuff that needs to be, you know, more is gonna be more some flour, but mostly vapes, edible, things that can be taken in that doesn't have a lot of experience for people to like, to actually roll or something. So I'll have the flour there, but my focus is not gonna be on flour because I think it, you know, they can't roll, they don't know how to do them. I really wanted to have that newcomer to the industry, that market, people who are really hesitant. A lot of my mom friends, because they're like, I want to try it, but I don't have an avenue to go in. They're not like looking to hit up like an illegal or delivery shop because they're not so into it, but they want to try it. So my focus is really microdosing, low THC, 2.5 milligrams on the lower side. And, you know, I might stock some of the high stuff, but really that's not going to be my focus. And that would be more for tourists at that, because we are in a high traffic area. We have a hotel next door to us. It's very busy. It's, you know, there's bars and stuff like that right on Kenmare Street. Very busy, you know, intersection. And a lot of traffic to the tunnel from Williamsburg Bridge down to Lafayette. But yeah, that's basically my story. Like, first and foremost is always just maintaining the building. I have also several other properties, and I own an indoor playground for kids in Williamsburg for 10 years. I'm also operating this development of about 70 tenants. So I have this building and a few in Brooklyn, Jersey, and Portugal. Lisbon. My father lives there, so after he kind of retired, yeah, he retired, so he kind of handed off everything. He was maintaining all of the businesses. I worked really closely with my grandmother, so she lived there for up until her passing in 2015, and she was a really big part of the community. And I still give back to like her. She's a big Chinese person. So she used to go all the community centers, like the one that burned down during COVID. And I was like, oh, it's so terrible, because I used to go there and watch her, you know, and stuff. She would always put on the plays there. All the plays every year. And so I still support her troops that come to me, and you know, they're not like a organized, like a permanent organization, but you know, it's something that like I think it was, you know, my dad was involved in, my sister was involved in the kind of different, so we were all kind of like in and out. I would do her makeup. I did my father's makeup for the last performance they did a couple of years ago. And she was in it. Yeah, so I think it's like really important. I mean, it's just one of the things like I really appreciate what they did for the years, and really trying to maintain this has been such a struggle. We want to do something to really push it forward and it be secure, because I don't want to, like, it's just struggling, you know, and it's just the, you know, and with all the low income housing in there, it's just a challenge, you know, to kind of survive, like, in small business. And you, and it's just me, so. My brother and sister are also kind of here, but my sister lives in Amsterdam, and my brother owns a metal clarification shop in Williamsburg and Brooklyn, so he helps as well. I'm coming. Right. I do a lot, man. I do a lot, but I like it, you know. What are you gonna do? You know?
Serial entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur.
Dig that though. All right, so Vanessa has applied. We discussed earlier that people are putting in, did we discuss this earlier? Multiple applications in our district. Well, all over the city, for sometimes it'll be one applicant, one space, multiple applications. Sometimes it'll be one applicant, multiple locations, and multiple corporate entities. Sometimes it'll be one landlord giving LOIs to everybody, so you end up with, 20 applications for one location from 20 different operators and 20 different corporate entities. It's a mess, but this is not a mess because Vanessa has actually applied to our board under 3 corporate entities. They are all the same, Bloomlee, LLC, 1, 2, 3. So just so you know, our resolution will address all 3, but she is being seen in a single hearing. Because same operator, same location, same method of operation. So to that,
That's because you're combining 3 existing stores, right? Did I see that right?
no.
Not at
It's
all?
one location. Did you read?
I'm looking at that.
Three.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the regulation that
Right.
OCM had created this kind of regulatory loophole where you're allowed to kind of apply 3 times with, a single applicant can apply 3 times, so we can have 3 different entities for that. So in order to be seen and kind of now with this, especially in New York City being first come, first serve kind of, mindset, a lot of people are applying as many times as they can to get pulled their application quicker.
Is it only 3?
You can.
They're doing so many more than that. Yeah, okay. So, your storefront is at 52 Kenmare Street between Elizabeth and Mott. You are an MWBE. You own the building. You are a business owner, times 1,000, which is what we just heard. You have strong ties to Nolita in Chinatown, which your store borders both, which is kind of cool. Let's see. No drug treatment facilities, harm reduction, playgrounds or parks within 1,000 feet. How many staff members are you gonna have?
I'm thinking right now about 15, but on rotation because of my hours of 2 shifts per day. So with that and managers, it's about 15.
15.
Yeah, so on any given time, it'll probably be 7 to 8 on the floor. That includes cashiers, fulfillment, and budtenders at the door. That doesn't include any security.
What is the size of the space?
The size is 1260 for the actual floor, but not the ground floor. The storage room is about 700 square feet, but the actual sales floor would only be about 860 on the ground floor, because the other half will be fulfillment, employee room, bathroom, non-accessible to the public.
And you'll vault and storage downstairs.
And so there's an RFID, in the delivery entrance, there's double door RFID and security cameras, and then there's a RFID that like access to get down into the building. So that's all very restricted to managers. Whatever we bring up for day of inventory will be on the fulfillment side, and so it's just whoever the manager will bring up the products to the fulfillment section, which is behind the cash register, which is behind some security cameras and a wall, and it's just going to be like a little drawer that goes from fulfillment, like a pharmacy fulfillment, to the cashier where you can pick up.
You said delivery entrance, so how many entrances are there and how will they be utilized?
So there is one main entrance with a security guard and a check-in where we'll have the ID scanner. And then there is a exit, dedicated exit door.
Okay.
Then the delivery is just a cellar. So it's an open cellar, and that would be just down the stairs in the basement to the cellar. 18 months and then they're open and that's just, yeah, that's exclusively just for delivery of products to get into our storage area. So it's separate from the sales.
Okay. Sidewalk stewardship, do you plan to do events? And if so, how many? And what will they be like?
We're planning to do 4 to 8 events, where we did put on our questionnaire. Our focus has always been about education, so I'm gonna try with, I don't know, with the regulations right now, I know that there is some gray area about educational workshops. However, what my original plan was having, you know, cannabis experts come in and talk about dosage, treat, things, how you can consume it, what are the levels, what are the different things, just as a free clinic to educate people. So that would be very controlled with an RSP and, very, not like a big party. I don't plan on doing bigger events like that. It's just mostly kind of more educational, like one-on-one kind of intimate gatherings with 15 people, something like that. Talk about different, ways to use cannabis in your life.
Wonderful. All right, did you put that application, well, it's on the website.
It's on the website.
I mean, if people want to see it. So we're different from SLA in certain ways because cannabis is so highly regulated in New York State that there are certain things that go without saying. We asked, briefly about the security system, but the fact of the matter is that cameras and security are mandatory. They are checked for, compliance, and that threshold of compliance is very, very high. So, there's not a big reason for us to go super in depth on that stuff, because we know that some of the state's guidelines are simply satisfactory for our community. Let's see what else. So delivery, not yet, but
eventually. So I think my plan because my initial capital, I'm just going to build out and do the store and eventually lead up to delivery if I can support that with the profits that I'm making. Ideally, I would like to partner with a third party, but I know that in the regs, it's kind of like gray right now in terms of who you can partner with at that time. I know the Square Travel Agency has DB delivery, but they do that kind of in-house. And they just use their software. So there are avenues and there's potential out there, just not right now at this
time. And I just got to ask you. So you're not going to utilize any outdoor space events. You will have ropes and stanchions on hand just in case, but do you anticipate?
No, I mean, basically that is only to mitigate any, probably the initial days of opening, just with the buzz around it, but we don't foresee that to be happening on a regular basis. And everything's inside, and I think that we have enough sales staff to support it and to kind of go through, one by one, like to your point, 7 minutes in and out. And
community outreach. So we received many neighbor letters.
yeah.
Probably because it's your building and you know the neighborhood and you grew up there. Yeah. Tell us, beyond the residents of the building and the nearby buildings and the neighboring businesses, who else were you able to connect with?
Oh wait, I did connect with Send Chinatown Love, which is a nonprofit. So we are partnering together to kind of benefit. I really tried to focus on, I know that the OCM is really focused on kind of partnering with a nonprofit that's, drug related or the war on drugs, and I understand that, but I really wanted to focus on someone that can really give back to the community itself, the Chinatown community here. So I partnered with Send Chinatown Love. I also to kind of dedicate some profits to them and like a nominal fee that, working them because they do a gifting program for the elderly for meals. I also reached out to Heart of Dinner, which may also be a possibility. They are definitely open to it, but I already said yes to Chinatown. I don't know how much I'll be making to be dividing it, but I did want to do, I did really wanted to work with them too, because they have a great program, like finding, dinner to the elderly. And yeah, I really wanted to reach out to someone, the group that my grandmother was a part of. She was really big on the community centers. She always attended the senior citizen. I was trying to reach out to, I think, Chinatown, which is building that exact community center that she was a part of, but I don't think that they're ready for it, so it's totally fine. But I kind of saw alternatives to that, and I want to benefit this community, the elderly in this.
Vanessa also has reached out to Fifth Precinct to do the neighborhood policing unit to talk through the business, the hours, and make connections there.
Yeah, that's great. Any questions?
Let's say credit card only business.
No, it's going to be cash, cashless ATM, debit, ACH. Credit cards are not allowed at this time. Yeah. Visa and MasterCard are not allowed. Yeah, MasterCard for sure. Visa's probably getting there until safer banking.
There's a question in the chat from a board member. Is this a provisional license or ready to go? Please explain.
It's a ready to go, I would say. So provisional license are typically meant for people who don't have real estate. So they will be given a provisional license, and then after that, they have 12 months to find a real estate. If you are like myself, I have real estate, then you would get final licensure with the recommendation, and they will be reviewing my application as of November 3rd. Probably we will see some type of determination with the final licensure beginning of January, February, beginning of the year. Something first quarter of next year. So it would be, yeah, I would think. But that's the difference between provisional and final licensure.
Is the space vacant right now?
Vacant. I wish I could build it. It was just too hard. They could afford it or just didn't work out. Unfortunately, I'm with two of the tenants I'm in lawsuits with for non-payment of rent because of that. And that's why it's been suffering, because every time I put someone in, it's out in like a year.
You mean your corporate?
My corporate tenants
Yeah,
that in the
retail,
for the
yeah.
retail space that I
Yeah.
want to put it in. Yeah. My previous tenants were, unfortunate. So yeah, so that's why. I mean, that's really why it's, I have empty stores and graffiti and everything, and I try to clean them up. It's just too hard to maintain there. And nobody, the interest is not there, or it becomes too high. It's just not, you need to be exceptional. That's the way New York is.
Do I need to explain the pre-application?
Pre-application?
People are asking.
All right, let's hold off on that 1 second. Valerie? Oh,
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, Vanessa, thank you so much for sharing your story and, your connection to the community. It's very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing all of your story. So to be clear, you are the landlord and this is not a provisional application. So you do have control over the space. So how can all three corporate entities, the Bloomlee 1, Bloomlee 2, Bloomlee 3, all have control of the space? And so I'm just trying to understand, based on there was a OCM training this morning for community boards. So I'm just trying to make sense of kind of why are we entertaining all three of these?
can I first explain why we are doing that? We are doing that because that is what we're doing. It is one location. It is one operator. The way that the system is sorted out they've created. This is what it's going to be. So rather than see them one by one, we are seeing them as one, and the resolution will reflect that. It may feel unfamiliar because it's never been done before, but we've never dealt with this before. And the training that we were on earlier was not for community boards. We were on a training for people who want to obtain cannabis licenses, be that cultivation, be that processing, and like this much retail information. So I say that because we were not really given the information that we needed as community boards to understand this process as it pertains to us, but to understand the process even at all. So, you know, I'm happy to do a quick and dirty training for any community board members that need the full overview. At
Right,
any,
that's right, but that's what the presentation, like the sign up board and everything said, was that it was for community boards. I'm just confused as to why it was marketed to us that way. I understand it seems though a lot of people thought that while the call was for this for community board staff, as well as other community board leaders, that the deck, the PowerPoint that they showed was used from a previous, but it was intended to give that information to community boards. That seemed pretty clear in their language and in the sign up for it. So my last question is, I mean, they made it very clear it was for community boards, even though the PowerPoint did not.
exactly what I'm saying. It's supposed to be for community boards. That's how it was marketed, and it didn't all address community board issues. It did not address our day-to-day. It did not answer any of our questions.
Right,
And
right,
it was not for
yeah.
us. It was
Right.
supposed to be, it was titled for community boards. It was not for community boards. So
Got it. No, I agree. I agree. I think we can both agree that the content was not, I think, what people hoped it would be. And it was what, an hour and 15 minutes into when questions were actually addressed, and the chat was really good with all the different similar issues. And I know you're leading the charge on a spreadsheet to gather all of those. So that's fantastic. So where's the advice coming from to this applicant to put in the 3 applications? Is that something we asked the applicant to do, or is that from their attorney?
That's me, the attorney, yes. She's able to do that because there's nothing in MRCHA that prevents her from doing so. Moreover, as Vanessa has alluded to earlier, it set up this dynamic where people can apply, can have one applicant who applies with multiple pieces of property. That property has to show immediate control or the option to control. So conditionally in leases, I saw someone asked earlier, we have the present, that's how the element of control is met for each of them. As Laura alluded to, you also see people applying with slightly different entities for, across the board. You might also have one entity applying for multiple places. So you're going to see a lot of applications either related to the same place or related to the same licensee or licensee hopeful.
Thank you so much for that, Christina. That's very helpful. And I really appreciate everyone's patience with my questions. My last one is, I guess, a little more general. This may belong in new business, Marcy, you can correct me, but I'm just trying to understand again how we selected this set of applicants versus maybe another notice that had a lease or not. Just curious. That's it. That's my last question. Thank you.
yeah, you guys they were the first in, as was Burkay, but also, like, they both came in before the deluge, before that new form.
Got it. Okay.
Everybody we have for that new form, we have to do deep dives into all of them. We don't know if they have leases. We don't know. We don't know. These are, what's happening all over the city, Valerie? And I'm sorry, well, I don't want to take away from your time, but people are just walking down the street and seeing buildings they like, writing them down on the notice form and walking them into our office. That's what's happening. So we have to really review every single notice we get and reach out to the people to make sure they're serious before we bring them in or we schedule them and they don't show up, or it's nuts out there. So we have a system to do that. We will see people in November. For example, there is one applicant that submitted 15 applications. 13 of the locations are totally non-compliant, according to the state. So,
And
yeah, we can't just randomly calendar people. That would be irresponsible on our part.
of course, should we have, I guess, one question is like, should we have some sort of lottery? But also, I know one of the concerns in the chat this morning from that training was that if I remember correctly, the onus is on the community board to go do
All right.
site.
Valerie, you're right. Let's do this in new business. If you stick around. Thank you. Apologies. There are any questions? Oh,
I still have a question, sorry.
on this topic.
On the questionnaire, I saw that there was bongs and concentrates. I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, that's it. Easy enough. Go ahead.
You stipulate to that fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured you'd spend all that time clarifying like we're entry level business and then you got bonds and. I figured it was a mistake. Thanks. Bye.
I have a question. Could you clarify again, security? You said that you will have one inside the door. That's it?
So we have one inside the door that's going to be doing by the check-in for ID scan. I also have a receptionist there, so it'll be both where they're going to be working in tandem because the security guard will also be checking out the space and any like the exit doors as well. But since it's such a small floor, it's only 800 square feet, I didn't think more than one is necessary. However, if needed, I do have another one on standby because it is going to be on a rotation anyway, but I do have one on standby because if there's going to be an overwhelming, line or whatever in the first couple of days, which I don't really expect it to last.
Did you specify unarmed as well, or?
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
sure.
we're still,
That's okay.
I think that's still up for debate, but as
Okay.
far as gun safety is concerned, all of the glass is going to be treated with
Right.
safety film.
Yeah, makes. I saw that, yeah. Thank you.
Susan?
Zachary was first.
Oh, sorry, Zachary.
Unless he just dropped his hand, I didn't know.
No, I'm here. I just have a very quick question. Thank you again for telling the story, Vanessa. It sounds like a very interesting concept. Just because of the location in Chinatown, I'm curious if you'll have signage and information available in Mandarin and Cantonese for local residents to be able to understand the products and services you'll have.
Yep, for sure. I even did my letter of support in Chinese, so that they can read it both, and then they sign the English version. So if you see the documentation, I do speak Chinese, so I do speak to them on a regular basis for any of their stuff. So it will be translated, but also I speak Spanish. And my general manager, I'm bringing over from my play space, is actually Spanish, and so they're all Spanish actually. So, but I like so we're. It's that whole Portuguese blend, growing up with that. So I'm multilingual. So I'm making sure that my staff will be as well. We are.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm also partnering with Hospitality Pathways, which is a nonprofit who trains on cannabis training. And they focus on training people who don't have that access to elevate them to be budtenders. And Beatrice has placed many of the budtenders in Union Square Travel Agency, good grades, and stuff like that. So I'm working with her to kind of source for her some applicants.
Okay, thank you. Great to hear.
Susan?
Thank you. I just to help me understand this better, the recommendation is to have 3 corporate entities so that you increase the chances that you will be awarded, in the lottery process, you will be awarded a license. And then whichever entity happens to get the license is the entity that will operate out of the property over which you have control.
Correct. Because in order to apply, you have to have a different EIN number. So that's really what it's contingent upon.
Okay. And because you are the principal, therefore you can offer whichever entity it is control over the site. Therefore, it is not a provisional, it is a full license.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I want. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to walk through it. Thank you.
To Pete's point, I think I call that the small park on Mulberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, so just so you know, Pete, New York did not opt out of playground proximity. There is a new term that popped up in the final regs, public use facility, for which we have no specific definition beyond recreation for kids. We asked for that I personally asked for that about 50 times this morning, like we need a definition, what is it? Because it could be anything. Well,
New York did not opt into that.
right, and we also did not see that, so there, it wouldn't matter if the playground was there for legal purposes, but B, you're more than 500 feet, aren't you? So, you know, and this is a mom who buys that playground.
But also, like I said, with the regulations, security is very, very tight. Nobody under 21 past the front door. There are 3 checks, 2 checks, first at the door and 1 at the register. So, to match the transaction. So no children.
Will you have like a vestibule? It says you're 400 feet. Lamp, I think it's wrong because I did check.
I didn't, how much did I put in? I actually measured.
Will you have a vestibule?
There is a small vestibule, but it's only for check-in.
But it blocks people from seeing inside the dispensary.
Additionally, the film on the glass windows, I'm trying to limit how much to have. Just, for cost. But also like that film that I'm putting on will like the shading. I also space, so but there's no product on the floor. It's all packaging. So all the product, the actual product will be fulfillment area, and everything you see will be just packaging and behind glass cases. So I will be displaying edibles, but in a glass case. The packaging, all the packaging is empty. The shelves will be just packages with empty packages, and then it's just for visual purposes. People can see and look at it and smell it, but any actual product will be behind the cash register.
The renderings are beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous? Yeah, they're really pretty devices. All right. So, do we have any other questions?
From Donna.
Donna.
Oh, let me promote her.
Yeah, we are definitely all learning as we go. I think everyone in this room is learning as we go.
You can talk, Donna.
Thanks, Mar. I just wanted to ask for just some clarification between the provisional as far as a lottery is concerned and this application.
Sure. So when you apply, there are 2 application periods, is what we'll call this first tranche of application for retail. And the first is to be submitted in 30 days. And that 30 days is when you have real estate, right? You can show some kind of control on the real estate. OCM has a vested interest in looking at your application a little bit earlier, right? And so that is you applying for final licensure because you were set up for that final licensure. First, being someone who wants to apply in this tranche who doesn't have real estate, then they have 60 days in which to apply, and that would be an application for provisional license. And then if they win that provisional license, they then, as Vanessa mentioned, have 12 solid months to go out to secure the real estate, any financing, etc. Is that helpful?
Somewhat helpful, but so the initial ones that go in the 30 days still go into a lottery for
everything goes into a review for lottery. So I could be, and what's fascinating about this process is I could be the first one to hand in my application in this application period, but then they take everybody and they throw the papers up in the air, and where they land, they're ordering, right? And so I could be dead last in the review process for that accelerated 30-day review with this.
Okay, so then my next question would be, though, if she's not in the, not in the provisional, then that means that the space is secured. So how can all three entities have the space secured?
All three entities won't. The first one to be called, right? It could be that none of the entities make the lottery, right? There are numbers, dead last, next to dead last, next to dead last, right? And so it could happen like that, but whichever one gets pulled first, they will then have control over the property and they will be the licensed entity.
And then we will drop the other two.
That's
Because the other two, once a space is licensed, they're not going to consider applications for
yeah.
licensed space.
Right, my
They're just
understanding,
letting it go back. It's the first one that goes up. So the first one that gets licensed is the one that stays. The other two are going to be dumped anyway.
that makes total sense. That's clear. But I didn't think that they could apply.
Yeah.
They didn't have control of the space. That's what's confusing me, that all, if you're going not into the provisional bucket, if I'm misunderstanding, but I thought it meant that you needed to have control of the space. So how can all three be saying that they have?
Right?
For the space.
The control goes, the first to get pulled has control, right? And so it doesn't, there is room within law and regulation that allows this format to go forward.
So if the applicant was not the owner of the building, that would mean that the owner of the building is leasing to offering a lease to three different LLCs at the same time. That's what I don't understand.
Not in this case, but we have a list that has multiple applications for one location.
That I understand, but that's not this situation. That's why I don't understand. Here, the landlord is the applicant, and so that's what's confusing me as to why there are three.
It's like, it's the chances in the lottery.
It's like buying 3 lottery tickets.
It's the lottery ticket.
You're so that she's in that first pool when they start reviewing licenses and has as many chances as possible to make that first pool, because there's not a lot of real estate, right? We have another application. Pete's talking about the playground. We have an application directly across from facing that playground on Mulberry Street. If that one gets pulled first and they get approved by OCM, she's not going to be able to open because it's within 1,000 feet of her building. So.
Okay, that makes sense. I just don't understand how the three entities can be, in order to be in this pool, you have to have control of the lease, and how three entities can have control of the lease is confusing.
You don't have to have.
So the actual language of the application is you must have a deed, you must have a lease, or a document that shows that you have the right or the option to control this property.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And is that why the projected opening date is June 6th or June 1st?
We put that in as.
Great. Cool. Easy enough, thanks.
Right.
Sure.
There's still a build out.
Are there any?
Yeah, of course. No, I understand.
And it's Alta Cannabis NY, so.
It could be, it could have been yesterday, could have been 3 months from now, who knows?
Are there any other questions for this applicant? Anyone? Seeing none? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, we're going into business session.
Have fun at your business. Okay, we're gonna leave you to your business.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Sure. She was observing.
we
Look at
can-
NY.
Yeah, I can do a different one.
Yeah, they're observing.
Kids are doing government.
Well, thank you guys.
We're in.
All right. Thank you for showing up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy. We were worried. We were worried. that we wouldn't
Well, the
have
email
one.
said to respond if you're not attending, so I didn't respond.
People don't always respond. All right, I'm glad you did. So. 1. For K, NC accidents, DBA elevated, cannabis Soho. Thoughts?
It's great. I'd love to see them finally get this process over with. It sounds like they've been working really hard on this for a very long time.
I agree, and I hope that he meets with the community, like Pete Davies.
Well,
I think he's caught in the middle of like fighting for this. So yeah, I agree.
it was really hard getting in touch with him and really creating even a rapport, because with the injunction, it was just, I think he was like watching his future fly away, like so many of these CAURD licensees. Deny unless with steps.
Yeah.
Good. We should vote.
Yeah.
It's done. Deny unless with steps, all in favor? Any opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, number 2, Bloomlee, 1, 2, 3, 52 Kenmare Street, Vanessa Yi Chan. Thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah,
Same deal?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a great target audience too. Like the 35+ female stuff is incredible. Like women deserve to be relaxed too. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I feel so seen right now.
as a person who just left my son, women deserve to be relaxed.
Oh. All right, so deny unless the steps, to all in favor? Aye. Any nays? No, so that also passes. We'll send out the resolution. So new business, do we have to make a motion for this? Valerie, do you want to participate? I'll take that as a motion and we'll talk a little informally about the rules and regulations and what's popping in Canna in NY.
About about having a board position on illegal shops, right?
Right, okay. What are you thinking?
I mean, isn't there, are we? I think there's other boards that have positions on illegal shops.
Like what kind of position?
So many feet, or that we're against illegal shops.
So many feet, like you're saying like a legal dispensary can only be but so many feet from an illicit dispensary?
Or just being again, like, I don't know. I mean, this is, I just feel like a lot of our suggestions on like past regulations, it wasn't clear if those ever got sent into OCM. And I just feel as though the board's position on, asking for a more enforcement on the illegal shops. I know that there was a bill by Councilmember Rivera about going after landlords, but how do we, and from what I understand and talking with some of the different bid leadership in our district, that it's not a priority for the sheriff's office to crack down on these illegal shops. So how do we, they're having a material impact on the legal shops that are coming into our neighborhood, as well as other. So do we have a position, does this committee have a position for the board on illegal shops, or asking for more enforcement? Or asking our state elected officials to close? Like, do we call for immediate closure and enforcement within 1,000 feet of all licensed shops in CB2? I mean, how do we protect and advocate for the shops that are coming in legally?
Well, we have been since day one. We send enforcement reports. We send them along with our resolutions. Hey, we just approved this shop. You need to protect this operator. We want to see them succeed. Here's what's going on around them. we keep in touch with all of the operators in our district and they call when there's a problem. And we uplift that. I don't know, you're not sure if our comments on the regs went to the OCM. Of course they did, as did the comments on the regs from every community board. Did they listen to them? No. And we know that why, because today we had an entire chat of, nearly 100 people screaming, we need 60 days, which is what many of the boards asked for. We asked for 45. They didn't listen. Do I think that there's any point in taking a firm position? No, I honestly don't think there's any point. I think that that work's going to have to happen on the ground. And I know that, as a community board, it's our job to, take a position and then ultimately maybe somebody will listen. And by the way, on those enforcement reports, they also go out to all of the district electeds, depending on where the dispensary is. I think the best work we can do is to continue to file those reports. Because typing up a resolution saying, we would like to not see them within 1,000 feet, immediate enforcement within 1,000 feet of any legal dispensary. And we can even put together a coalition of all the community boards or all the district managers or whoever and deploy it that way. This has been done for so many of these subjects related to cannabis for the past 2 years, and there's been no movement. So, again, no, it's not our burden to do proximity checks. It shouldn't be our burden to have to sift through multiple applications from multiple people for multiple corporate entities. We have to figure out a way to make it work so that our community is protected and so that our community can thrive, is my opinion.
I have a question for clarification.
Yes, Chris?
Is that just a feedback? Or the sheriff thing and the landlord punishment thing true? They're not punishing and then not enforcing?
So there was a couple of months ago, a bill that went through the city council. It's not a state law. It's specific to New York City. It was, what's her name? Lynn Schulman.
I thought it had gone through.
She was the lead on it. Chris, was it Chris? Eric and Carlina were all co-sponsors. They did a press conference at Union Square Travel Agency. And that bill allows us to hold landlords responsible. That's another thing that goes into my reports, my enforcement reports, which is I look up, and sometimes it's not easy. I find the landlord and I include that information in my report. I also try to see if that landlord has other illicit shops.
Great.
That also goes in the report. If you look across the street, 1 block up, 1 block down, we now have 4 illicit dispensaries, some within 100 feet of one of the first justice-involved owned cannabis dispensaries. They are calling every day. They are sending up enforcement reports every day, as are we, including the electeds, and still nothing's moving. And even when there is a raid, they open right back up.
So then I guess in a different tax, should we just, for like face value, have a resolution saying we support enforcement from sheriffs and
we support it.
Landlords? Yeah, yeah. Maybe.
But,
all right.
again, I think
We're already doing the work, right?
our efforts are better spent actually doing what might actually help the enforcement rather than taking a position or, making some grand gesture.
Sure.
It is like actually doing the work that might actually result in enforcement. Valerie?
Yeah.
Raise your hand anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, from everything that we heard today, on the training that we were on, there were so many issues that came up, and I know you've got this spreadsheet. So could we take those different issues and write a resolution about the issues there, as well as, I offer again about how do we politically support our legal dispensaries, either asking for, if we know we can't get enforcement across the board, there's no question about that. And you and your committee are doing amazing work. And you in particular, I know, are doing a bulk of the work with the enforcement reports you've mentioned. So can't we advocate, at least within the immediate perimeter of the handful of shops that we do have and that are coming online, that there is enforcement around those shops so that those small businesses can thrive and not have their profits eaten by shops that are illegal, that are not getting closed down? Just trying to find a way to advocate for the legal shops in concert here with the committee to support the legal entities, but and to try to, at least so that there's somewhat of a framework, that it's not the entire district we're asking for enforcement for, because it's not going to happen, but something that's manageable.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. And actually, we're building a coalition around this with all the community boards. Since this morning, I've heard from many, many people. I've gotten many emails from boards across all 5 boroughs. So if we want there to be impact, I do believe it has to happen. Really, all of the community boards have to work in collaboration. They're not going to listen to this community board or that community board. I think it needs to be something bigger. So I do like that 1,000-foot angle, because there's an argument for that. Like, if there's 1,000 feet between legal, well, why shouldn't there be 1,000 feet between, I like the way it sounds. I don't know if they're going to go for it. Frankly, I don't know if they have the manpower to even do that, but it's worth a try. Let's put it in the spreadsheet. Let's put it on the list, and let's circle back in a week or so and see what's up. Is that cool?
Sure. I'd love to know where our comments on the regs are, if they're on the CB2 website. Thank you.
I don't know if they are. You would have to ask the office, actually. I haven't looked. They would be in the full board package from the 2 times we submitted them.
They weren't in the full board package. I've looked. Yeah.
All right, we'll find out, or we can ask Mark.
Usually letters, we never.
Oh, the letters don't go in, because we were looking for a different letter. The board doesn't put letters in.
Aren't in the full board package. That's something we have to address.
Yeah, that's something you might want to address with the office, that they don't include letters in the full board package that gets posted to the website.
I dropped the Hoyleman letter in the chat. Take a look. And
yeah, no.
This is the letter.
Was it? He put an email to her.
Share screen. Oh, share screen. Oh, I don't know how.
All right, don't share screen. And also, I don't think that was so long ago. And there was I remember that letter, and there was something that was not.
You want me to share screen?
Quite right in there. No, people can look at it if they want. I think we are in an entirely different place than we were then.
Okay.
So I think we really need to speak to this from now.
Okay.
All right, any more comments on that? Seeing none, I'm going to close out the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
So adjourn, I said. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? I don't know, I'm talking in New York. What do you want? So moved. All right, good night, and thank you all for coming.